For such a great introduction. Malik, it is very nice to be with you. And today I would like to present you the part of my work which we are doing together with Professor Pinter and with Professor Polanus. We are representing totally different areas of science because I'm the marketer and I'm specializing in the marketing communication. However, Professor Pinter is responsible for architecture and Professor Polanus for the social science, and together we try to combine the best practices, and already we're working on a book which is about the marketing orientation in cultural institutions, and for this reason we are selecting we are selecting the best practices and the examples. I will have a good luck. Okay. And today I would like to present you one of the examples we have identified about a very good cooperation between the public sector, cultural institution and business. And it is very close to my heart because it is connected to my city, which I'm coming from, with Łódź. And of course, when we are preparing our book and our work about the cultural institutions, we have identified several interesting questions which are still present in the literature and which are still very common for all cultural institutions in the world. First, the cultural institutions are asking the question if they should be much more market-oriented or they should be culture-oriented. In other words, if they should follow the money or if they should follow the heritage, the cultural support for the society and the identity of the society and of the country. Also, very important question which is appearing very often in the literature and in the practice is how it is possible and how we can, what kind of the method we can use to build a dialogue between totally different elements which are culture and business. So how we can combine culture and business to be fruitful and have mutual benefits for all. The third question is also how we can build and how we can make such a sponsorship program which can be also beneficial for business, so business can find some values in supporting the cultural institution, giving the money, and what cultural institution can give to the business to be even more effective in such the area. And the case study, because in marketing this methodology is surviving really a renaissance. You're using much more in case studies in the cultural marketing. I would like to present you the case study of the man from Manufactura, which is connected to my city. But before I will do it, I would like to give you some information about some background information about the city and about the theater which is connected to the program. So my city is one of the biggest Polish cities. We already have 700,000 people. So really comparing other Polish cities, it's quite a huge urban center. We are located 135 kilometers southwest from Warsaw. So we can say it's a really very good location. It's very close to the capital city. And the city was surviving really a very huge, very rapid growth in the 18th century. As far as the cloth industry was developing very fast, and for this reason even the population number was higher each year. Also what is very valuable is the fact that the city in the 18th century was the multicultural city because we had 25% of the Germans, 25% of Polish people, 25% of Jews, and 25% of some Russian connected people. So it's really a cultural bond, but it was a very smooth cooperation between these nations, and really because of such the cooperation and dialogue, the city was developing very fast. However, in the industry era, the people who were living in Łódź, they were mainly working in the factories. It was the beginning of the capitalism, and mainly the place of work, the place where they were working, and there were of course the factories. And what is even important after because you know that in Polish we had the change of the political system. After this time, which had really a very serious problems with especially the unemployment rate, because all the people who were working in the factories suddenly lost their job. And for this reason, that was really very important to find a new strategy for the city. And the city council decided that our city will develop according to the creative industry. So mainly we can say that the whole strategy of the city is basing on the creative industry. And what is even more important to mention as a part of the promotion is the fact that my city, the Łódź, is one of the urban centers from Poland with the highest number of different festivals. Even that the strategy which is based on the creative industry is existing just for 10 years. So it's really very important. Even if we're not the capital city, we have the main Fashion Week festival, we have Lightmove festival, which is as big as in the capital city, the biggest comics festival, and also multitude of different events. And really, we are noticing more and more investment in culture, what is really impressive and has the impact on the case study which I'll present in the moment. Manufaktura, it was the complex in my city, which was built by the Israel Poznański, the person which was the Jew, and he was one of the richest men in not only in the city but also in the whole region. The area which he has constructed, it was really very huge. It had almost 30 hectares. And the majority of the people from our city were living close to the factories, and they were working also in the factories. So it was a great opportunity for them, even if the work condition in this time was very difficult. But as I mentioned, after the change of the political system, the factories were almost destroyed. People were totally unemployed, but we still have the infrastructure. So it was the necessity to find the idea how to use these factories and these buildings in the most effective way. For this reason, we have found the investors, and they totally changed the whole building and the whole infrastructure. Now, in the place where we have the factories, we have the biggest Polish shopping center, but it is not only a shopping center, but also the place where the culture is flourishing, the place where the people are spending their free time, and where the congresses and international conferences are taking place. It is functioning since 2006. In the beginnings was mainly connected to the shopping center, and when the city decided to use the strategy of creative industries, also it was the main headquarters for all the initiatives which are taking place in the country. And now in Manufaktura you can find the theaters, museums, and really a lot of other cultural institutions. And mainly when people are coming to the city, they're visiting Manufaktura in the first place. So it is perceived as the nice combination of leisure, shopping, but also art and culture. What is important to keep in mind, what is the essence of my case study, is the program which is called Amen from Manufaktura. And this is the competition which is organized for the young artists, the musicians. And it was initiated by 3 different entities, by the city, by the biggest theater in my city, and by Manufaktura. So this complex which I presented a moment ago. And the main idea is to organize such a contest, such an initiative which would promote all of these elements, so which would be beneficial for all of these entities. And the main objective, so all these entities decided that the main idea is to compose the opera, which would be called Amen from Manufaktura. And absolutely, this opera should refer to the history of the place, to the Israel Poznański, which was called the King of Cotton, the most powerful person in the whole region. And it should consist of 2 acts. In the first one, the musicians should create something what is connected to the beginnings of the Manufaktura existence. So absolutely all elements of heritage should be taken into account. And the second should refer to to this what is happening with Manufactura at present. So when we're talking about benefits, why the entities should involve in such a project, we should mention a few factors. So first, when we're talking about the artists, we should take into account that they could take part in such a competition because they are promoted. So these are mainly the young people, so they need the promotion, and for this reason it is very valuable to take part in such a contest. On the other hand, as far as they are the young people, the exposure to the professional audience is at great values because they have a chance to see how the professional contest, how the music seems to be in the real life. On the other hand, it is also the exposure to the critics because they are taking part in the whole process of the preparation and of giving the results, the notes, the grades for their work. And on the other hand, it is also experience, so a very good element of the curriculum vitae. Of course, because this is the contest which has we can say the national scope. And so it is very good to have a success in this area. For the theaters, it's of course very important because it's the part of the promotion of the culture, and culture promotion is the element of the mission of each cultural institution. So for this reason, theaters are seeing that supporting such an initiative can be beneficial for their mission. Also, what is even more important is the promotion of new artists. So the theaters are looking for the people who are especially talented, who can have the impact on their audience, so they're inviting such people, and the contest can be the element of this. And the education, so the education mission for the theaters showing new perspective using the modern approach is really also at huge values, and for this reason the theater, the great theater of the city decided to take part in this. For the city, it is even more important because it supports the building so-called the cultural brand. As far as the city wants to be creativity oriented, they should take part in such a process and supporting the similar initiatives because they are the sub-elements of the brand building process. Also, it is developing the local culture, as you see, which is quite a young city, so the identity maybe is not as visible as, for example, in Warsaw or in Gdańsk. So each initiative which can build the identity and which can develop this social, the roots between people and the city is very important, and also the promotion of the history of the young city is presented or is perceived as something important. Also, as you see, the Łódź is a city which is quite close to the capital center, to the capital city, to Warsaw, and young people, more and more young people are leaving the country to live in the capital city, so such the initiative can stop such a process that people are leaving, and we have less and less people each year. For business, it's even more important because, first of all, now the companies are organizing the programs which are the social, which are connected to the social responsibility, and culture is one of the elements which can help to create such the pro-cultural brand. Also, when we are inviting the young artists and when we are presenting something new for the audience, we can talk about the relationship building. So our customers, our viewers are more aware about what's happening here, and they want to be more loyal. And also the positive image for the companies at the time of globalization is perceived as the important element of the social support, and also companies are deciding to take part in similar projects. I would like also to tell you very fast about the stages of such the competition, so how it used to be organized. It was organized mainly in 4 stages. We can say about the registration, about the elimination, about public concert and official premiere, which is still in few months. Which will be in few months. But the registration and the elements, these elements are really very important, very interesting, because the young artists are using the web pages to register for the contest. On the other hand, they're receiving the libretto, and having this, they have to compose the 15-minute tracks, the audio material with their own work, and we have the professional jury, which are composing of the artist, of the specialist in culture, and like looking for this work. they have to select three best authors which are going to the second stage. And the second stage, there are then eliminations. The artists are obliged to present the first act in the theater, and the fragments which they make in the theaters are registered, and then they are also presented online at the official webpage. And according to this, both jury and the professional and the audience online, they have to choose the best one, and only two artists are invited to the next stage. At the next stage, we can say we have the full contest, so the two artists are presenting the opera, and the jury and people connected to the culture has to select the best one. Very attractive is also the material price, so the benefits, it's about 10,000 euros. In Poland, it's quite huge support for the young artist. The person which is winning such the contest has to compose the whole opera, which will be presented during the official premiere. What is even more important, and we see here a very nice combination of this cooperation between public sector and private sector, is the fact that the opera which won the contest will be presented first in the theater, and on the other hand also in this center in Manufaktura. So in the open space, and the laureate, the winner of the competition, will present the opera during the whole season, what can be really a huge contribution to his future career. So when we are talking about the effects of the project, so why such cooperation should be used also by in different places by different entities, is the fact that first of all, such the contest and such a initiative can build the mutual cooperation between the most important entities in the city. So first of all, between the authorities, between business and between culture, what at present still is not seen as a very good element of the strategy in many cities. On the other hand, the support from the private sector for the culture and the cultural institution is perceived as very important, and such a sponsorship program can be very interesting and very good for both sides. So these mutual benefits are at huge value, and of course such a competition, such the initiatives can support building this creative city. So it is present in all media, and for this reason people not only in Poland but also outside seen that these three entities are working very much each other. And on the other hand, it is also very beneficial from the point of view of branding, because normally when we are talking about branding projects and branding process, we are talking about branding only for one entities, and here three entities, totally different entities, meet each other, and according to this they can create their own face, their own image, which is beneficial and fruitful for all of them. Thank you very much. I hope for the question. If I didn't explain anything, thank you one more time.
Thank you. Thank you, especially describing the relation of the